can taste your words. I can taste your.
Welcome to the Easy Answer Podcast. I'm Brandy, plant-based chef.
And I'm Vonanise, plant-based adjacent.
On this podcast, we explore thought-provoking conversations around food
and simple ways to stay healthy in this crazy world.
Hey, welcome to the Easy Answer Podcast. On this episode, we are going to be talking about sugar. One of the things that I really don't think we could ever talk about too much because it's one of the most challenging things for us to give up. So in January, if you guys have not heard yet, we are going to be launching our sugar-free challenge. As a way, we would, we're telling you about it in December, but wouldn't dare have you to give up sugar right in the midst of the holidays. So, hey Vaughn, how you doing?
Hey, I mean, I think that we're generous. Well, it's smart of us not to tell people to give it up in December because no one's
joining the challenge.
No one's joining.
Without sugar.
Yeah, they're more likely to join in January, so it's smart marketing for us to say, well, let's do it in January because a lot of people want to change their diet. I remember a couple of years back, J-Lo had a sugar-free challenge, and she challenged Hold a Copy to do it, and it was around this time. And I thought that's really interesting. I've been sugar-free, and it was hard to wean myself off of it, But as we've discussed, I brought my sugar palate down, and I think that even if people walk away and they bring their sugar palate down, that's still a plus.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most addictive things. I mean, we will at some point during this month also re-air our discussion on the Explain Sugar Netflix series that we kind of delve into to really dig into the science of just sugar, the marketing campaign that was created around it, and how addictive sugar is. And sugar tastes so good. It's something that you can't deny. I don't know any. I mean, even if we talk about natural sugar, right? Like fruit, more times people like fruit better than they like vegetables, right? And that's because of the sugar content.
Yeah, but even vegetables have sugar in them.
Definitely.
But I just think that in terms of sweets, when I did see the Explained episode and they said 3/4, they listed, that list of all the names for sugar. And that sugar is in 3/4 of the food that's on the shelves, And I was just and that's probably just water and a couple of things that don't have sugar, in the supermarket. So it's in 3/4 of the thing in the supermarket. And so it just helps you see how pervasive sugar is in our life and in our, how it plays a part in our diet. And they said how when we added more sugar, a lot of other factors in our life went up. A lot of other diseases were also added to our palate. So, I mean, a sugar challenge is not easy because sugar is addictive. It's not as addictive as cocaine, as some people would say.
That can be debated. There are studies that
it's not as addictive as cocaine.
The research wasn't necessarily confirmed. I'm just saying.
We're gonna re-air the episode, and then you guys let me know if they're saying what I said or what Brandy said.
And even if that episode says that it doesn't, at the end of the day, there are other studies that show that sugar is more addictive.
But like they said, which one do you want to withdraw from? You want to have sugar withdrawal symptoms or cocaine withdrawal symptoms? You cannot compare the two.
Why not? Tell me why you can't compare the two just because you'd rather withdraw from sugar over campaign.
Because you have a physical high that could make you physically ill and sick. And when you're coming down from sugar, it does not make you physically ill and sick the way that coming down from cocaine addiction would have done to your body. See, and I'm speaking as someone who's never even tried cocaine. So if there's anyone out there that's tried cocaine and that came down from it, and they can attest and that it made them sick, please reach out to us to prove to Brandy that she's wrong. Okay,
listen, I'm all for the Easy Answer third party supported study of cocaine addiction versus sugar addiction. All for it. Now, no one is saying that, you snort sugar and then you get high and then you, I don't know, lose your teeth or whatever happens to people that do cocaine, right? But what I am saying
That's
is
not what happened to people that do cocaine thinking mad. She don't even know her drugs.
you can tell I do not partake in the narcotics. So
I mean, you can just read some regular research.
I don't know what happens with people in that drug. I mean, I'm sure there are cocaine addicts that lose their teeth too. But my point has nothing to do with the teeth. My point has to do with the fact that in the body, sugar wreaks havoc. And it is very challenging to get rid of as far as like stop. It's in everything and it stimulates our pleasure centers. So,
That's true. And also sugar is not illegal. And so there's no stigmatism that there's no one thinks, oh, I got to get off of this sugar. People might say it. People might think that, but no one's saying it like it's deadly for me unless you've been diagnosed with something like diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
And we give sugar to small children all the time,
Unfortunately. And even a lot of those, what are those things called? Formulas. Those formula milks have like too much sugar, which is unfortunate because right out the womb, for moms who can't breastfeed, you're literally getting your child hooked on something that's not going to be great for their long-term, like just development and health. So
I know someone that used to put honey in her daughter's bottle.
Isn't it like not recommended? Like they say you shouldn't even give kids honey until after the age of 2.
I think that she was 2.
Okay. That's still a lot though. But what was her rationale, for putting honey into the bottle?
You think I ask? People do stuff that's strange to me, and I just sit there. I didn't say anything. She was culturally different than me. She was from another culture, so I was like, maybe that's how they do it where you're from. Where I'm from, we don't give babies bottles with honey.
Got it. Okay. Okay. I would have dug in. I can't help it.
You always have to ask people questions they don't want to answer. I'm not like that, okay? I don't dig it.
I want to know, like, why are you doing this? They have philosophy behind this? Cool. So we're gonna bring our guest to the show today to join our conversation about sugar. Jessica is going to tell us about her journey with sugar, and we're going to see if she is going to take the challenge with us in 2022. Hey, Jessica, welcome to the Easy Answer Podcast.
Hey, I was just trying to Google real quick honey in bottles so I can see.
Did you put honey in your children's bottles?
No, absolutely not. No. I actually, none of them, only 2 of them actually even touched the bottle. Others were just purely just 100% breastfed. And that was like, that was working during those. Well, no, 3. I'll say 3. So half of the 6 were actually touched the bottle. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I want to be like you when I grow up.
No, she's a super
girl.
Jessica, tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
Yes. A mom of 6. Wonderful. Yay.
Yes. I am a mom of 6 amazing human beings. I am also the founder of Jel Speaks Digital, which is a digital media company where we do all things digital. I'll just keep it at that. I'm a maternal health advocate. And what else you want to know about me? That's about it, I think, right now.
Cool. So tell us about your relationship with sugar.
I know as you guys were talking, I was like,
your love affair. How's it going? Is sugar your side piece or your main day?
That is, I think it is. Like, absolutely. I mean, it's funny because I was telling Brandy, I said, are you sure you want me to come on? Because like I'm doing a whole song about cookies, like how much I love cookies. Do you really want me to come on there?
It's your main bag, right?
It is. It absolutely is. But in that song, I actually talk about like it's the one thing that like helps me with stress because that's my like go-to thing to like. And as you guys were talking about the cocaine, I'm like, oh, it might be my cocaine. It's not good. That's not good.
But there are ways we could help you, because we like to build community around here. There are ways we can help you to wean off of sugar slowly.
Yeah, so I guess I'm like a cocaine addict in that respect too. I don't want your help. I want to stay with the cookies.
Oh wow! Okay.
I want cookies.
She
But
needs
I
an
want you to have cookies, but I want you to like switch your recipe up a little and maybe add less sugar and a date.
That's the problem, right? That's the thing, is that I'm buying them. I'm not making them. So
Okay.
I'm purchasing the cookies. I'm not making them myself. So if you can offer up other cookie recommendations that still taste like a cookie that I can buy, because I'm not baking nothing. I'm sorry. I'm not.
6 kids, you ain't doing that. Got it.
No.
All
We
right.
special occasions we cook, we do cookies and we do whatever, but other than that,
It's a no-go.
it's not happening.
All right, as long as we know it ain't happening. All right.
Yes.
Do you think that chewy granola bars are a good replacement for cookies?
I have tried. So here's what I've tried. I've tried banana chips. Banana chips work for me.
What kind of cookies we talking about here? Let's get specific. What's your cookie? What's your cookie of your love affair? Who's your love affair right now?
I have, darn it, I don't have one next to me. I just ate one, but what are they called? Madeleines. Madeleines are usually the ones.
The ones from that Starbucks has a real good one. It's really delicious.
And that's a bougie cookie, a Madeline.
I mean, you know we bougie, right, girl?
Well, they're in Costco.
Nobody.
They're in Costco. Like they come in a big old pack at Costco. So
Bougie heard. Whatever. I agree with you. Madelines are delicious, but you have to have a bigger reward for yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's more of an escape thing. I don't think it's more of an escape than a reward. To be honest, I don't reward myself at all. I need to do more of that. I don't reward myself at all.
You don't. So cookies and sweets, that's your reward for yourself.
I don't know if it's necessarily a reward. I don't know if, I guess you can categorize it as that, but I don't know if I would categorize it as a reward. It's kind of just something I need to do at the end of the night. Like when I'm editing videos or something, it's like cookies and tea. Those are I don't know.
I know what you mean. I drink tea, but do you put sugar in your tea?
No, I don't put sugar in the tea, but I do put honey. So I guess that's bad too. It's the same thing, right?
Okay, we just was like, yay. No. Okay, so how many tablespoons do you put in?
I don't calculate it in tablespoons, so I do like 3 squirts of the bear. So I don't know what that equates to.
Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to start to put them in teaspoons, right? And you're going to read the back of the label. You're going to see how many teaspoons is a serving. So once you start to pay attention to the serving amount, you can gauge how many calories you're actually adding to this midnight snack.
Oh, got it.
So if it's like 80 calories for a tablespoon of honey, that makes a bitch think twice, right? Because you don't just put 1 tablespoon in or 1 teaspoon,
It's probably not going to be one, no.
Yeah, that's the thing. So start to measure it. Once you start to measure it and you bring it into your mind, that's when you can start to edit it.
Okay.
So measure first.
Got it.
Well, and I'm not saying to cut it off. For everyone, if you're putting honey or sugar and you're just randomly putting it, start with the measuring. Read the back of the label. See how many teaspoons or tablespoons they're saying is whatever amount of calories. And then you're going to start to add that based on taste, based on whatever they say. If it's a teaspoon as they're using as their measurer, then use a teaspoon. If it's a tablespoon, use a tablespoon. And then if it takes 3 and honey's like 60 or 80 calories per serving, 3 times 80 is 240 calories. And you just slept on 240 calories of sugar, and that 240 calories of sugar is on your teeth. And we didn't even talk about the cookies yet.
Yep, true.
And so then when you hit the cookies, since you like cookies, look at the back of the label. See how many cookies are in a serving. If they say 4 cookies, 140 calories, take out 4 cookies and eat 4 cookies. So then that way, I have 140 calories of cookies. I have 240 calories of tea. Yeah. That is 380 calories that you're sleeping on.
Yeah.
That's like a lot. So then once you start to pay attention to things like that, you will self-edit for yourself. Yeah. Because you're just adding it to your mind,
Yeah.
Yeah. And if the one thing I will say too, if you are like sugar trying to figure out like, oh, I want to take some sugar out, but I still want that sweet taste.
Hmm.
Cinnamon tea
Yes.
is a great way to activate the sweet part of your palate. So you can have a tea that like maybe you used to put say 3 things of honey into it, put a bag of cinnamon tea in it, and then 1 thing of honey, and kind of
Give
see
it
if
taste.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
Hill and Hardy has delicious cinnamon tea that I don't even really use sugar anymore. I was like you, always on the sugar, always on the cookies. And then this one came and said, we're going to have tea without sugar. So then now it's like all my tea is cinnamon sugar because I add that tea bag in so I don't have to add sugar, you
Got
know?
it. Got
And
it.
it really
Okay.
has helped me because, diabetes runs, like I said before, on both sides of my family. Like my sister
Mhm.
has it on my father's side, and my auntie has it on my mother's side.
Yeah.
And it's just killing us. And we just can't live our lives like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And
So I think you're just more aware of what you're putting in. Like start with the awareness.
And then the question too is like when you're talking about like nighttime, just like snacking, just you want something sweet. Like, is it that you want something sweet or is it that you want a cookie? Because you can replace sweet with something naturally sweet, like some fruit. People be sleeping
Yeah.
on frozen grapes, but frozen grapes are real. Like those things are yummy. Like you want to snack on something at night, snack on some frozen grapes, right?
But it's cold in LA in the evenings, and you want something that's like a little bit chewy.
But you got
know?
tea. But the thing about the grape is you freeze it and then you suck it, and then as it warms up in your mouth, it gets soft, and then you bite into it, and it's kind of like a hard candy that turns into a gummy. It's very interesting. Like I'm just telling you, try freezing some grapes. It's sweet. It's yummy. It's at least a good way to manage your sugar fix. It's not a cookie. I'm not selling it as a cookie. I'm selling it as a way to kind of manage your desire for sugar.
A long time ago, I remember I was watching Oprah when that first documentary came out. It was like Food Inc.
Mhm.
And that guy, he had the rules, and he said, when it comes to sweets, you should only eat as much as you're willing to bake it.
Mhm.
So, like, if I bake, right? So, and I was like, that's true. And that's when I started baking more. I bake like apple pies. But if I'm not willing to peel the apples, all right, because you have to peel them, chop them, put the whole thing together. It takes like 45 minutes. Then I have to ask myself, do I really want it? And that one thing really stuck out to me. And then another thing was, I used to say to myself in the summer, so where I live, I used to live like 15 blocks away from ice cream bar, like from Baskin and Robbins. And at the end of the night, I'd be like, I really want ice cream. However, am I willing to walk a mile for it? Because 15 blocks there, 15 miles back is a mile.
Yeah.
And some days I was willing to walk a mile for it. And other days I wasn't. So the days that I wasn't willing to walk a mile for it, I didn't get it. And the days that I was like, oh, you really wanted it. And then that makes it sort of worth it too. If you have like an after dinner snack, it's like, am I willing to walk around the block or run on a treadmill for 20 minutes for this snack? Is it worth it? Is it? Is it worth jump roping in your house? Are those cookies? They better be really good. Are they worth doing? Do you have a jump rope or a treadmill in your house? Do you have any of those things? Yoga? What you got?
Jump rope. And we don't have a treadmill, but we do have an exercise center that we go to every now and again.
Okay, so are they worth you jumping on the elliptical for those cookies, for those Madeleines? Ask yourself, am I willing to get on this elliptical for 20 minutes for those cookies? Yes.
No. Oh, you're asking me. Oh,
Yeah.
You can't ask me right now. You would need to call me late at night when I'm like sitting down in front of the computer ready to do work, and then have that question ready for me. So like right now, I don't have the urge. I'm just like, I mean, I ate it because it was right here in front of me and I didn't need anything. And that's another thing.
Another way that we eat too.
Yeah, exactly. It's because I'm busy running around doing all the things. And then it's like, oh, this is just easily accessible. It's right here. So yeah, I mean, it is making me think I need to start to put more things that are more healthier in right here in my, and I'll pretty much just eat whatever is in front of me, to be honest. So yeah, no, it does make me think about that.
But you know what you can have at the end of the night? I don't know if you like this, but I like this very much. I was on a diet called The Firm, and they sent us an In the Zone diet, which is like that celebrity diet they have in LA. And I remember we used to get apples, and they used to give us with peanut butter. OMG. It was the best thing I ever tasted in my life. All right. Because yes, peanut butter does have a lot of calories, but it's so much protein, you know? And it was really delicious. And I didn't realize how good it was until I scooped that peanut butter in the apple. And I was like, this is really delicious. Why haven't I known about this for my whole life?
That is a really good tip. That one, and I think honestly, roasted sweet potatoes. People sleep on roasted sweet potatoes, or even those Japanese yams. Like those
are really sweet. Yes,
too sweet and creamy, and they don't have any calories. Like they're fat free. I don't have calories. They don't have any fat in them, right? And so you can literally just eat those, and I mean, you feel satiated. You feel like that sweet tooth is definitely satisfied, and you're not having empty calories. So,
but I think that nothing can cure you from wanting a cookie. To be honest with you, when you want a cookie, you want a cookie.
Hands down, nothing can. However, if it's a mindless act that you go to help you to manage stress, and you're just like, by the time you're done, you've eaten through 17 cookies, and like, you know, that then we have to.
I do monitor myself on that, so I do monitor how many I take.
Good. Okay.
So, yeah, I do monitor how many I take in, but yeah, it's just and it also is. I think as we talk about this, something that I feel like it's also been kind of indoctrinated into me, because that's kind of what I would do with my dad at night. Like we would go and sit down and eat cookies, or he'd eat pie or whatever. And then that was kind of what we did at night. So it's also that habit of changing some of that too, right? That was just a constant in my house. It was always some type of sweets, and that's kind of how we bonded or did whatever. So it's also that part of it too. So when you talk about this and you try to bring this to the forefront, you also need to dig deep into why are you doing this, and what are the reasons, or what are the habits and behaviors and things, and then how you can talk about that and bring that to the forefront as well. Because there's also a lot of things to consider around that. But your podcast will let you roll.
You're funny. My friend said that too. We had another guest on, KB, and she said in her family, they have to travel long distance to see each other. I think they lived in West Virginia and she lived in DC. So it's like an 8-hour drive. She said, and every time they got out the car, they had all these treats. Like she was like, they would get out the car and all of these snacks would come out the car. And it just reminded her. And she was like, and we're all unhealthy. And we think, oh, it's in the genes. She was like, no, it's because we all eat like this.
Yeah.
And in my family too, like we eat like that as well. Until I took ownership and said, well, since I like sweets, I'm going to start to bake them.
Yeah.
And so when I'm making an apple pie, I can make an apple pie with less sugar, you know, or I make apple pear pies because there's more. Pears are very sweet, right? And I can make it like the recipe will say, add, you know, a cup of sugar. I'll add a half a cup of sugar in the base, and then I'll make a crumb topping with only 2 tablespoons of sugar. All right. And my pies are still relatively sweet, right, Brandy? Wasn't it? But okay, we can't go by Brandy's sweet palate. It's like low.
Wait, so is Brandy's sweet palate not non-existent, or what is Brandy's sweet palate?
It's low. It is low. I don't know if it's non-existent. It's low. Like I'm that person that, like, I put enough sugar in something that it's like that it kills the, like if you're baking, it kills like the baking soda flour thing. Like, you know, it's nothing is really sweet because I taste everything. So for me, when I can taste the sugar, it just literally kills every other flavor. So yeah, so I have a very most people like Vaughn. We sometimes some of my dishes like I think it's the acid, the lemon squares you love because
I love the lemon squares, and they're perfect
because of the brightness of the lemon. So it's lemon has a sweet note to it. So like it really makes sugar taste a little more like present. So it's different. But then like the it was the rhubarb like coffee cake thing that you found that it wasn't sweet enough. But for me, I thought it was sweet. Yeah, so it kind of depends.
But that's another conversation too, right? It's like your palate, your sugar palate, like defining what that is, and then how you can navigate some of that. If you really, really love sugar, then how you can pull back. But then if you are not so much as a sugar person, how you can also make sure that you are being cognizant of that as well. Because I don't think we've had a palate talk. I mean, I think I've heard it maybe once or twice in conversations, but the sugar palette talk is, maybe that's a podcast episode. Yeah. It'll talk about only sugar palettes, right? What is it?
We
What does it
talked
do?
about that in one episode, actually, because Brandy helped me push mine down.
Ah,
You know?
okay.
And
Okay.
it happens naturally. Like if you get a cold and you don't eat and you lay in the bed for 3 days, your sugar palette naturally goes down. Everything starts to taste
Got
different.
it.
You
Got
know?
it. Yeah.
And so you're trying to do it without, catching corona or catching
Got it.
So you just have to, like we said, like just be cognizant and aware of what you put in your system,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
I find that when I measure things out, it gets a little bit easier.
Hmm.
And I'm totally different. Measuring drives me nuts. I just want things that I don't have to measure in my house. You understand? Like I want to eat celery and peanut butter ad nauseum until I'm done. Like that's my philosophy. I'm not cutting. I don't have to measure celery. I have to measure like
Yeah.
chips.
You have to measure the peanut butter so you don't have too much.
Yeah, but you can't fit that much peanut butter in that little slither. That's that little crease right there, and that's celery.
And Brandy, the chef, probably got the piping bag, and she's like,
Exactly, right? Yeah, she tries the whole thing.
the rest of us be like just dipping it in.
I take a spoon, guys. I stir it and then take the spoon and spread it in. I don't do the piping thing.
But even
You
that
have
is like,
one. Tell the truth.
I do
Yeah.
have a few.
that's another level though. It's like, oh yeah, take the spoon, put the spoon inside space. That's a whole nother level, right? So
A whole nother level. So hilarious. But I think that, most people, you don't really start to think about it until someone in your family gets sick or someone close to
Yeah.
you gets sick from their sugar
Sure.
intake. Does diabetes run in your family?
yeah, I mean, I think most. Let me not put that out there. But yes, let me just answer the question. Yes, but it's also something that we've kind of been aware of, and I know I've made changes just around of course, Brandy, right? With what I consume and put into my body. Now, I guess that's the next step is monitoring the sugar and trying to figure out. But to be honest with you, I mean, there needs to be a bigger conversation around just eating, period. I don't eat. I'm so busy doing things. So yeah, I need to take this podcast episode and sit down and make myself more aware of when I do eat what I'm eating, but then also making sure I put myself on the schedule to actually eat.
Yes, put it in your calendar. And last question, are you going to join our sugar challenge in January? Have we
Call me in
committed-
January. I don't look. I'm like, I can't give you an answer. Call me in January. I gotta see how I feel about it. It depends on if I got a lot going on or if I don't have a lot going on. If I got a lot going on, I may need the sugar so I don't go and do something else.
But see, it's not
Oh, yeah.
sugar-free doesn't mean no sugar at all. It means no added sugar. It means natural.
Oh, okay. Then that's different.
So
That
it
is
means
a big
We're having
difference.
dates, we're having apples, pineapples, raisins, all of the natural forms
That's
of
a
sugar.
huge difference. It's when you say sugar challenge and you say no sugar,
Right.
I'm thinking absolutely none. Right.
Yeah,
And so
right.
that makes me think, oh my gosh.
That's when you feel you get the withdrawal symptoms like the cocaine
Like
addict.
the
Exactly.
cocaine, the shakes kick in, right?
Start scratching and stuff. None.
But it's a challenge for me too. So we'll all do it together,
Yeah,
and we'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
cool. All right.
I'm down for it. I'll try it. I'm down for it. When I commit to something, I commit to it. So I'm down
It's
for it.
only 30 days. You got
And
30.
Brandy will give you some fun little things you could do, like a little recipe, little recipes. Brandy's good at that.
Yeah, we won't be.
You
we won't
said only 30 days.
Yeah.
I know that's a long time.
Telling me not to eat a cookie for 30.
And
Oh,
we might only do it for 21 days because the top of the year, not 21, 29 days. Because remember, Monday is the 3rd, right? That's the first Monday in January. So we, after New Year's Eve, we can't expect you to give it up. But if we start Monday the 3rd, that's only 29 days.
Look at that. What?
29.
I'm not seeing it, but okay, we'll try it.
Okay. So on that note,
Yes.
we're going to wrap up this episode of the podcast, and Jessica is going to join us on our sugar-free challenge in January.
Pray for me.
Yes.
You too.
Till next
Oh,
time.
you over here like, but I need just one.
Come on, you can do it. All right.
You can.
No, I'm sure I can do it. I'm just playing around with you guys that are listening, but it is really important. Like, is it Vaughn? Vaughn said, you know, our communities are, you know, it's real tough out here in these streets, and if it's something that we can prevent, then why not, right?
For
If we can
sure.
prevent the illness, then we should do it.
Yes. Like we can't be out here dying from lifestyle. That's a
Yeah,
lifestyle.
that's just stupid.
That's so true.
We got other people
Not
trying
enough
to.
Kyle Rittenhouse got off for killing all those people.
Right. Like, we'll need to help the cause.
We don't need to help these people, right?
Yes, guys. So thanks as always for joining us. Jessica, thanks for joining us at the Easy Answer podcast stoop, so to say. And everybody else, thanks for watching our episode. Until next time, remember to be easy.